languages, they're codes, right? And there's certain things that you can say in one language that are so much more meaningful than another language. I, listen to music.
The phrases, the meaning of the phrases, the words. You're right, absolutely right.
I mean, some of them, I don't know. I, I don't know if they say this in Arabic, but in some dialects of modern Syriac, they'll refer to someone as, you were my liver, right?
Kibdi.
And the kibdi, right?
Yeah.
And so if you told that to an English speaker, they might be offended, or they might think that you're like, have you been drinking? Do you need to sit down? You need to have, like, can I get you a glass of water?
From where you came.
Yeah. Can somebody help this man? What's going on? And if, but what does that mean? Well, it's the heaviest organ in the body. And the ancient people of the Middle East, from the ancient Assyrians to the Hebrews, like they use this word to also refer to honor and respect, because it's synonymous with weight, right? Iqoro has to do with heaviness and weight, right? So we kind of use it in English that way when we talk about things are very weighty, there's an implied respect to it, or an importance, at least if it's a weighty subject. That's really heavy, right? That's an important or valuable subject. We kind of do it in English, but you wouldn't say, you're my liver, sweetheart. Hey, you're my liver. Aw. You go to the Middle East, you get aw. Here you get, come on, bro. What's wrong with you? So, guys, if you're listening and you're not Middle Eastern and you want to impress your lady, don't start with that. Wait till you know her a few years, but then pull it out.
Teach her the language first.
Yeah,
it takes years.
It takes time. But with that, that's just to illustrate that a language is a code, and it's an agreement between at least two different people. Usually it's more, it's a society, and the way people speak Arabic, the societies are often local, right? Like it switches, their code is not the same as our code. You say bandura, we say banadura, or something like that, right? And the codes shift and move, from region to region. But fundamentally, they're a way that, we relate to each other, the way that we share our inner self, our being, our mind with people, through language, that code. And so the Syriac tradition, Syriac meaning, okay, we can define it as Aramaic, from the city of Edessa, blah, blah, blah. Look, it's an imprint of Aramaic, which is a very ancient language, one of the most, the oldest attested. It's not the oldest attested in writing, but it's very old, and it reflects the Semitic tradition. And what's beautiful about it is the way it codes reality, right? And so the more the language, the more it magnifies your faith experience. Oh, I'm paused, and I'm paused in a very, my face looks weird. Okay, much better. But it's like putting a magnifying glass over something to see detail in it. And that improves things, especially a spirituality, because it makes your world God-minded, right? So that when you use the language, I say use, I was going to say speak, but who are you going to talk to? Right? There's not a whole lot. We don't have a big community of speakers who are
Aramaic speakers.
Yeah, where we need them to be. There's different local versions, Jersey, Sweden, Germany, things like that.
Yeah.
But all that to say, it's worth learning, but if you can't learn it, you shouldn't feel bad. And if you start to learn it, don't think you have to learn it in 6 months or a year. Like, it's okay to take 10 years or continue studying it, because I'm coming at it from a spiritual perspective, not necessarily learning it for scholarly purposes or, some other, I can't imagine the conditions where it would be needed, but for no purpose other than spiritual encounter. Of course, it's great to have things fast. And I think when it comes to language learning, a lot of people, and this is not just a Syriac thing, but they get frustrated and they say, well, I'm not a language learner. I'm not a language person. Look, you're just talking about someone who catches on quick versus someone who takes longer. We're all language people because we're all speaking. We're all reading and writing. Thank God. That's the new thing too. Last, 100 years or so, mass literacy, right? You probably know people who can't read or write. Still, it's not uncommon, but now the more common is to read and write. We're language people, and Abuna, I don't know if you're a language person or not, but I know that you know at least 2 languages very well. I know that you also know a third, Syriac, right? And maybe you know dialects of Syriac. Maybe you know more than that. Maybe you learned French growing up too. I don't know. Or German. Maybe you've got a cousin, or like half the family settled in Germany, half went to North America. You don't have to be a language person to be able to learn language and then use it. So one of the cool things for me about the community is everyone's a polyglot. Like everybody speaks multiple languages, and it's not uncommon to find people who speak 5 or 6, let alone 2, right? There's a deacon. He lived down the street from me.
We have a monk. He knows 14 languages.
Oh, perfect. Only. Well, best.
Yes, only.
Okay. We'll buy him a book so he can get 15. That's awesome. That's fantastic.
In Jerusalem, we have another monk. He knows, I think, as I remember, 8 or 9.
Okay, so the junior, right?
Yeah.
The junior man, he's the one who only knows 8. So talk to him later.
Put them aside.
Yeah. Look for number 14. But I just want to encourage people out there, and I don't want anyone who's listening to think, oh, I'm not a language person, or I don't know that. I don't, how am I going to learn it? It's so hard. Look, shway, hedi, ishmo, like take it easy. Nicha. Give it time and be patient, and don't put any pressure on yourself that takes away from the experience.